Pay your fair share, man. Pay your fair share. Take it from Joe.
Pay your fair share, just like middle-class folks do. But that isn't happening now. Today in this country right now, the top 1%, for example, evade an estimated $160 billion in taxes that they owe each year. Not new taxes, taxes that they owe.
You might be the worst possible messenger for anything tax related, because this is what you do. You do exactly what you're preaching against. Government report indicates Biden could owe as much as $500,000 in back taxes. Jeez, Joe, evading? Does that count as evading taxes like you're talking about? Or does it not count because you're a politician and you're now the president, so it doesn't matter, right? Come on, man! I'm Tyler Zed. Welcome to Zeducation. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Zeducation, and welcome to another episode of That Didn't Age Well. If you are new to this channel and new to this series, here on this series we highlight hypocritical and lying politicians, mainstream media, and celebrities and entertainers. And in today's episode, we have a lot. September did not disappoint in delivering many things that did not age well, from our politicians to the mainstream media, lots of fake news today, and our celebrities and entertainers, lots of them. And on today's episode of That Didn't Age Well, if you cringe, you win. It means you are sick and tired of our establishment, our media, our politicians. You're sick of them. Sick of them lying, telling us to do one thing while they do another. If you're sick of the hypocrisy. So if you cringe, you win. It means your brain works. If you are ready for today's game, you cringe, you win. Head down and like this video. And if you are new here, please make sure you are subscribed and have the bell clicked for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Now on to today's episode of That Didn't Age Well. Number 10, misinformation and hypocrisy runs rampant on social media. For example, one of the biggest perpetrators of fake news on the blue checkmark brigade on Twitter, Rex Chapman, who tweeted this the other day. Oh my God, the COVID Bowl. College football, the COVID Bowl. It's just, I can't believe it. I'm so happy that he's speaking out on this and spreading this and criticizing all these big crowds. Even though just a few months earlier, this was Rex Chapman at an NBA game without a mask, around people without masks. You have to admire the hypocrisy. You have to. And another account on Twitter that spreads a lot of misinformation and a lot of hypocrisies is this account right here, tweeting this in August.
Breaking news. The Biden administration issues a new eviction moratorium, putting a stop to many looming evictions in order to help stop the spread of the COVID Delta variant. It applies to America's high-risk areas and will last until October 3rd. Retweet if you support Biden's decision.
Evicting people? Bad. You can't do that, right? Unless this is the case.
Breaking. A large Florida landlord announces that he will begin requiring all new and existing tenants to provide proof of COVID vaccination, saying, you don't want to get vaccinated? You have to move, and if you don't, we will evict you. Retweet if you support the landlord's move.
Don't evict. Month later, evict. Don't evict. Month later, evict. Which is it? Number 9. On last example, we covered Occupy Democrats. Now, we're going to cover some Republicans and this leadership from the Republican Party in D.C. There are many reasons that a lot of conservatives have lost hope in the Republican Party, and we need to look no further than examples like this.
So you are expecting then to raise the debt ceiling once again?
Of course, we will never have America default. Well, we raised the debt ceiling because America can't default. I mean, that would be a disaster.
Republicans are united in opposition to raising the debt ceiling.
It's all a game. It's all a show. All of these politicians, left and right, they play this stupid game that we're not a part of. They get out in front of the camera and they say what they have to make it look like they're battling each other. It's all a game. It's all political theater. It's a joke. They don't actually believe in the stuff they say, and it's both parties. Number 8. Some of the spineless foreign leaders, they were so excited when Biden was elected. People like Emmanuel Macron. French President Emmanuel Macron says America is back after Biden's first few months in office. Just a few short months later, this is his tune. France recalls ambassadors from the US and Australia over submarine deal rift. Slow clap for that one. You love it. America's back. Nah. Number 7. In some more things that have gone horribly wrong in the last year, we have seen a huge spike in inflation, and they've spun it to make it sound like it's good. Like this from CNBC. Inflation's silver lining. Higher salaries. Oh, don't be worried about inflation, guys. You might be paying more for everything, but you're going to get paid more too. And it's just transitory, right? It's just a temporary thing. But these false narratives that places like CNBC are pushing are quickly not aging well. September 17th from Bloomberg. Inflation has turned $15 an hour wages into a setback. Wages have risen this year, but inflation has made that money worth less than before, preventing any meaningful improvement in living standards. If only someone could have predicted this. Except for anyone who was thinking logically and with the basics of economics and money supply, you know. For some reason, though, the media, they didn't want you to panic. They don't want you to panic. This narrative is quickly morphing, though, because reality is setting in. Number 6. Another thing that happened in September was this January 6th Justice Rally in Washington, D.C. The media hyped it up to be this big thing, the second coming of the insurrection. From AP News, allies of Donald Trump are mounting a Saturday rally at the U.S. Capitol, aimed at supporting the 60 or so people held behind bars among more than 600 charged in the January 6th insurrection. It's unclear how many demonstrators will show up. Like I said, this was hyped up. This was supposed to be a big deal. But this is what happened at that January 6th rally.
Still seems like more press than protesters. Less than one demonstrator per member of Congress as the scheduled event begins. Attendance at the Justice for January 6th rally is almost all press. Very few actual rally attendees.
And hilariously, there's video of some of the protesters getting arrested, and they're actually undercover federal agents. So how many of the protesters there were federal agents? And how did this false story become a false story? Who pushed this? And why? Number 5. We have incompetent leaders in the Democratic Party, in the Republican Party, and sadly, in our military that lie to our faces. Here's General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, telling multiple lies on September 1st about the August 29th U.S. drone strike in Afghanistan, on his way to heralding it as a righteous strike.
And it was a righteous strike.
A righteous strike. Well, we know for a fact that no terrorists were killed in that strike. 10 people died and 7 children. Now, the heads of our military lying to your faces. Sad, really sad. Number 4. More don't believe your own eyes. Here's Biden's administration telling you that the borders are closed.
We have reiterated that our borders are not open and people should not make the dangerous journey.
The borders are not open, guys. But here's video of this. You decide for yourself. I mean, you can believe him or you can believe your own eyes.
All right, guys, what you're looking at right now is the U.S. side of the Rio Grande. That is a mass of several hundred illegal immigrants who have just crossed the Rio Grande. And look at this, several hundred more streaming across as we speak. We're on a boat in the Rio Grande. This is the Mexican side of the river right now. You can see it's a never-ending stream. Hundreds of people crossing the Rio Grande basically every hour. And they're heading over to the International Bridge, which you can see in the background. Look at that mass of people. This is why the situation under the bridge continues to deteriorate.
Borders are not open. Interesting. And more on this, when asked about all these mandates, these vaccine mandates that are supposed to be implemented, are there mandates for all of these people crossing the border?
It's a requirement for people at a business with more than 100 people. It is not a requirement for migrants at the southern border. Why?
That's correct. Go ahead.
So while the White House and their staff are exempt from the mandates, while the post office is exempt from the mandates, so are the people crossing the border. But you might lose your job. You might lose your job if you don't do it. How can we take these leaders seriously? And while we're on the press secretary, here's some more from her. On September 1st, she was asked, was the president in any way pushing a false narrative in that call? I'm not going to go into the details of a private conversation, but you did when it was Trump. And here's you under Trump. It is not just the call transcript. The whistleblower complaint would likely have more details. We need both, and not just the call. So it mattered under Trump when you guys were trying to impeach him over a phone call, but under Biden, that doesn't matter. Don't talk about that. Who cares? It's just a phone call, right? Hypocritical swamp. Number 3, the gift that keeps on giving, and that is AOC. Remember when she was touting this narrative? AOC says she's going to keep wearing a face mask despite being fully vaccinated. Ocasio-Cortez told her followers, if you want to keep wearing your mask, then do it. She's being an example. Gonna still keep wearing the mask. unless she goes to the ball, because there, that doesn't matter, right? I mean, it really doesn't matter. Those rules don't apply there. They don't. And we know this from the Emmys too. As you can see here, no masks at the Emmys because rules are for the little people. Not a mask in sight. Wow, that's so crazy. And when asked about this, even CNN reported that the LA County Department of Public Health tells Oliver Darcy that the maskless Emmys were not in violation of the county's mask mandate because exceptions are made for film, television, and music productions, since additional safety modifications are made for such events. Your kid has to wear a mask at school all day long, but these people don't. Rules for thee, but not for me. You guys gotta follow the rules. You gotta listen. Pay your fair share of taxes. Wear the mask. But they don't have to. No, we know that. We know. There's so many examples. And this goes for over in Europe as well. Here's an amazing clip. Look at this. They think the cameras are off here. And then all of a sudden, oh, camera's on. Put your masks on, guys. Put your masks on. Oh, yep. Put it on for the camera so people see us wearing it. Okay, there you go. Be a good example. Clown world. We live in clown world, you guys. Number 2. More trying but failing to control the narrative in really silly, stupid, verifiable situations like this.
None of them were shouting or complaining. Every one of them were thanking me as if it was something special. I mean it sincerely, that I was here.
They ain't gonna do shit. Leave them in ruins and leave Americans behind. Shit. Leave Americans behind. He will leave you behind. You guys protected him. He leave you guys behind. That's great. Leave Americans behind.
Sincerely, guys, like everyone thanked me like I was Jesus Christ. Sincerely, I mean this. No kidding. I'm not joking around. Joe, people can see now. We have social media. This isn't like the 70s when, you know, since you've been around for that long, where you could say whatever you want and the media would cover for you. Now we can see these clips for ourselves. You're a swampy, hypocritical liar. Stop it. Just resign. Give it to Kamala. Let her dig her own grave, and then we'll go from there. And it seems as though people are actually waking up because polls are showing that 1 in 5 Americans want to take their vote for Biden back. Polls show 20% regret voting for him as president while his approval rating continues to drop. 1 in 5 people, they're growing some brain cells back at least. That's good. Number 1. Like I said, fake news was running rampant in September, and we have about 5 examples that we have to go over here in number 1. Like I said, why do they try to do this when we can verify all of this for ourselves now? Starting with our first example, on 9/11, former President Trump absent from the 20th anniversary 9/11 ceremony in his own city. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. But Trump was doing this in his own city. President Trump visiting the NYPD and the FDNY on the 20th anniversary of September 11th. So he actually was out there being a leader. He was supporting our policemen and women and their firefighters. He just didn't want to be associated with this swamp of a group of people. Then we have Axios, who tweeted and then deleted this. New photos show Border Patrol agents swinging whips and charging their horses at Haitian migrants attempting to get to an international bridge in Del Rio, where thousands have sought refuge trying to seek asylum. They're freaking whipping them, man. They're whipping them. It's like slavery, right? I mean, this is crazy. They're whipping these people. Well, Axios quickly deleted that when they realized those weren't whips, as explained here by the FOP. For all of you Twitter warriors out there, these are not whips. And no, Border Patrol agents are not whipping people. They are reins. Stay with us here. Like a steering wheel is used to drive a car, the reins are used to drive the horse. Thanks for coming to our TED Talk. Ooh, no. They're whipping them. The worst part about this is this stupid narrative is still out there circulating because people spread the fake news. And then let's move on to MSNBC. Among many other people that spread this fake narratives, but these were some of the larger talking heads that did this. People like Rachel Maddow. Patients overdosing on ivermectin, backing up rural Oklahoma hospitals, ambulances. The scariest one I've heard of and seen is people coming in with vision loss, he said. And you got Joy Reid reiterating this.
So things are clearly bad, but they're being made even worse by people who have refused to take the vaccine and instead are swallowing horse paste. The emergency room in one rural Oklahoma town is being overwhelmed by people overdosing on ivermectin, the horse deworming medication. It's gotten so bad that gunshot victims are having to wait to be treated.
But This news, perpetuated by MSNBC, that was originally started by Rolling Stone magazine, was a fake news. None of that ever happened. Rolling Stone horse dewormer hit piece debunked after hospital says no ivermectin overdoses. Why and how do these people still have a voice? They have spread fake news many, many, many times, and they're still allowed to do so. Well, they criticize others for doing the same thing. It's hilarious. And last but not least, we have Biden at the reception of the 13 men and women, the soldiers, that died under his leadership. On his orders, they died, and Biden was checking his watch at their reception. He did that multiple times. But whoa, 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 whoa. Take it from this blue check mark and this journalist that's not true. That's fake. People were spreading false rumors about that.
New fact check. A viral photo makes it look like President Biden checked his watch during a ceremony honoring U.S. service members killed in Kabul. But that's misleading.
Fact check. That's not true. But it was true, and this blue checkmark fact checker quickly made a correction after he spread this fake news all over.
Corrections and clarifications. This story was updated September 2nd to note that Biden checked his watch multiple times at the dignified transfer event, including during the ceremony itself. The rating on this claim has been changed from partly false to missing context.
Can't even fully own up to their lie. Labeled it partly false, and instead of saying, sorry, this is true, you guys were right, they labeled it missing context because they can't fully own up to their lie. That person should be fired. They should be. They're not journalists. They're not. None of these people are. And it is absolutely disgusting what our system has become. These atrocious leaders, our media, the president, congressmen and women, it's disgusting. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did you cringe at any of this? Are you sick and tired of any of this? Because I know I am. Again, let me know in the comments. While you're down there, please like this video. Please help me get it recommended to others. That's it for today's video. Until next time, I'm Tyler Zed, and this is Zeducation.
For the children.
Idiots.